Matthew, I'm like stoked about this whole allow thing because I think you like hit the nail on the head because it's like the missing key to the law of attraction. And I always tell people the same thing that you're talking about is, well, number one, it's you can have that vision board on the wall, or you can have, sticky notes around saying I want to be thin, or I want that car, or whatever you want in terms of like positive affirmations. But the law of attraction only goes so far. And then what are you doing to make that happen? And if you're not taking any kind of action, or if you're not surrendering to the now, that's, there's kind of like a two-part thing, the way that I'm reading your book, the way that I'm seeing it, because it's like, you've got to be content with what is right now. So what? You don't have the Bentley, but you want the Bentley. And what steps are you taking to make that Bentley happen and make it a reality for you? So those are the steps that people are missing with the law of attraction. And if you watch The Secret, that's exactly what they were missing in that whole movie, in that whole book, was those two steps. So I think that this is going to be mind-blowing to the whole community of people that love the law of attraction and that want to make it work but never could. So can you explain to us, in your own words, what this whole allow thing is to you? Because that's how I'm getting it. That's how I was reading it.
Okay. Yeah. Allowing is the final missing piece. So when you have an intention, you have the divine feminine energy when you're placing an intention into the universe. And then you have this divine masculine, you have to take an action, an outward action.
Right.
But then the final step is you have to be past the blockages that usually are preventing you from receiving. So receiving is the final step, allowing is the final step. And what's critical about allowing is that usually you have to get your mind out of the way. Usually allowing would happen instantaneously if we didn't allow the who, what, when, where, why, and how to step in the picture and tell us why we can't do it or why it's not possible. Because then once we engage that limitation, then we set that up as a rule in our life. And then when we set up the rules, we get judged by the rules we set up. So allowing is really the answer.
Right. Yeah. I'm just fascinated by it because I guess it's one of those books that you don't want to just skim through. You want to take it bit by bit and read it and really understand it and really get it, because it truly is the next level. It's like we are all moving into this next level, whatever this next level may be, but that is like the next level of manifestation. That is like, and manifestation really is creation, which is why we're all here anyway. So I guess you could say that you've got the next level of mankind or civilization or soul's evolution in your book, and it's amazing. How did you think this up? Like how did this dawn on you that, or is this something you've always believed for a long time and it's just coming to fruition now that you're writing the book?
Well, first of all, if it's me that has the answers, we're all screwed. So
No, I believe in you. I totally do. Because look what you've created for yourself already. Not everybody can do that, right? You've taken action.
Yeah, that's what's exciting about it, is that it's in spite of me that it worked. Okay, that's what's cool about the book, is that it doesn't matter who you are or what your struggle is. The real secret is just to get into that, relaxed state of allowing. And it's really, I heard one time, I put it in the book, where Daryl Anka channels Bashar, and he said that surrendering is allowing yourself to be in control. So it's almost like a surrender, but there's a little bit more to it. You see, you have these repeller forces that are always at play, and you have these attractor forces that are always bringing you what you want. And a lot of times we walk around like this all day long, and we're like, I want my money, I want my money. And then it tries to come, and we're like this.
Yes.
We don't even realize why we're doing that, because we don't even know that we are doing that. So then what we do is we push harder, and we push harder and push harder. And then we burn out, and we say, well, that just didn't work. I tried all that law of attraction stuff, and it's all a bunch of garbage. Like I can't get anything. But in reality, what happened with that is that you set up a resistance pattern, and you had too much of this repellent stuff going on. And so it is an art. And so, yeah, it's true. What happened with me was back in, the 2009, I had Lyme disease and I was really sick and I was bankrupt and I didn't have any money. And, a few years later, I was perfectly healthy and I had 7-figure income with my business. So that was all because I was able to align with the principles in the book and I really allowed it in.
Yes. And you know what? I was so hoping that Doug would be able to join us, but that was one of the things that we didn't check with him, because I know he has an AOL account, because he's one of those people, I'll tell you, that is all about jump and the net will appear. He's kind of crazy like we are in that sense. It's like, he'll go for it. He'll just, why not? What have you got to lose kind of thing, right? So, he might join us, you never know, but we were definitely going to have him on, because he was supposed to be the guest. And we can talk a little bit about him, of course, but I think we'll have to redo his episode, because I just think there's so much to learn from him. And he's in a lot of ways, he reminds me of you, because you were a regular guy, and then you decided, because you were sick, and it's kind of like you got to hit bottom. And for me, I guess I'm a slow learner, because I've had to hit bottom many times, and I'm sure that you're the same way, Matthew, that before we really get it, and then by the time we hit the bottom, like the 5th time, we're like, yeah, maybe I should do something different.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And that's kind of like Doug. Doug's the same way. He's been bottomed out. And you think, with his resume, he's got like over 40 stadium events. Like this guy, if you look at those events, those really cool events, like with the Olympics, like the interlude thing, and like the Super Bowl, all these like quirky, weird, like almost like Cirque du Soleil type performances. This is coming from Doug's brain, all of it. He's the instrumental guy that creates this magic in his mind and actually makes it happen. He's the one that's like, the team just does what he says. If he says, oh, I want these people to have wings and fly over this person, and this is what he does, and they build it. So it's just amazing that although he's had so many accomplishments, an Emmy and 40 of those productions under his belt, and he's a crayon artist, and he has his own studio. He doesn't have a studio now temporarily because he's moving, but the art that he creates is phenomenal, and he's got a book, but yet at the same time, he's had so many of the rock bottoms. He's really, he got out of the work for a little while, he hit bottom, and then he's back again, and then, I wish he was here to tell it, because he's just like us, where we're slow learners. So now that we have Matthew's book, we can all, not hit bottom anymore, and not, in that state of because I think that's what happens. I think people get so far with the law of attraction, and then they're like, damn it doesn't work. And then they slide back down into the bottom again. So now we have the tools through you that we can move to the next levels. So that's really cool. I'm like, this is, to me, and I don't, I never sugarcoat anything. You know me, Matthew. It's like, I tell it like it is. And I honestly believe this is going to be Oprah big, like really, really big. Like I don't even think how massive this can be. So
yeah, it's cool, because I wrote the book almost in like as a coaching session to myself, so I could remember like what the magic was that brought me out of that place.
Yeah. And
then I also thought, it'd be cool to just get it out so that I could leave a legacy for my kids one day, or anybody that wants it, it's there. And the other thing too is, speaking of hitting rock bottom, that happens to the best of people. Look at Donald Trump. He went bankrupt, or negative $500 million in debt. Where at one time he saw a homeless person and he said, that person right there, that person is $500 million richer than I am, or something like that. So I mean, that stuff happens, but you see what it is that's all just shifting in contrast. The question is can you bounce back? And if you can bounce back and you can just overlay a new creation, then that you've got something good. If you're able to manifest, and that means to make visible, if you're able to do that, then it's okay. You can go through some bumps in life and you can come back. I mean, I've done it with illnesses several times. I mean, well, everybody has. Every time you get a cold and you get well, you're actually a new person. you actually are a totally new person when you're well. And that's the same with manifesting anything, is that you're actually changing your inner vibration so that you are in a parallel universe where what you desire exists. And that's what the whole process is.
That's so interesting you say parallel universes, because I have been dreaming a lot over the past few months about parallel lives. And I'm not the woo-woo airy fairy. I call it woo-woo airy fairy. It's like the new agey terms. Like, I'm very practical spirituality. And when I wake up a lot of the time, I'm thinking, that felt like real life. It felt like my life now, but just in a little bit of a different scenic way. It was just it's a weird feeling. It's almost like that it's a multi-dimensional life that you're simultaneously living. If that makes any sense, it seems kooky, but that's the feeling that you get with these dreams. So I think that has a lot to do with this next step, this allowing, all of this stuff, and why I'm dreaming, and a lot of other people I've heard as well, dreaming in multi-dimensional layers. It's really neat.
Yeah, it's cool. I just had one the other night. I use this stuff. I've been taking sprays of it, but it's one of our products. And it's the monatomic elements. I take this to synchronize my brain, and I also do it before bed. And I had these astral travels, and they're pretty intense. So the other night, I had this travel. Sorry, these are my kids in the background.
Hey, bring them on for a second. We'll get them to say hello.
Hey guys, come over here.
Yeah.
Come and say hi. Please.
That way people will know, and then we can say, I've got 2 chihuahuas here, so if we get intense barking for a second.
My daughter will come over. She likes the camera. My son.
Okay.
Yeah, if you keep your voice down though a little bit, please.
Hello.
Angel.
I see that. I see. So it's you that's making all that racket back there. I heard you.
Yep. See you. Here, you can talk to her.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
What's your name? Oh, pretty name. And, we're talking about Daddy's new book. That's what we're doing. So we heard you over there making a bunch of racket. Is that what you're over there doing, playing?
Oh, we're not playing. We're watching a movie.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, keep it down over there, young lady.
I'm just watching it.
Yeah. Go back and watch it with him, okay? Thank
Cute.
And the
Star Wars.
Cute as a button.
Yeah.
I can see a little bit of Daddy in there, that's for sure.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you can't say that it's the mailman, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing I want to talk about too is, like I said, back to this dream first though. I had this idea in my dream, and I was like solving a problem in my astral realm, and like you said, it was so real. I was living in that realm, and then I woke up in the middle of the morning so I could write it down and remember it. And sure enough, I started to do it in the physical realm the next morning, and it was like the answer to a problem. So
Wow.
we really are like living more in our dream state that we think is our dream state than we are in our waking state.
Absolutely. And what's so funny is that I don't know if it's, well, you know me, Matthew. I've had 100 different things going on lately. And you're talking about illnesses. I mean, I've had that seizure and all that stuff. So who knows what's going on in my noggin? But there's these states, that you're kind of not sleeping and not really awake. And I'm getting this a lot lately, where it's like you see everything, but it's like pristine. Everything's straight as a pin, and it's clean, and it looks like instead of being disheveled and like books on the shelf kind of tilted a little bit. Or like Colleen's medals, for example. She has running medals that are hanging on the wall and in the bedroom, and they're like pulled pin straight. Like the ribbons aren't like a little bit disheveled like they usually are. They're like pulled pin straight. And I really don't know. I'm seeing something in a different level, and I keep hearing the sound that goes with it. That's like almost like you're traveling through like energy or something. I almost feel like Star Trek, like where's the mothership, but it's really neat. And then it will last for a little while, and then when I'm slowly and waking up, it'll start to go back to the way that it normally is, where the books are not pinned straight and everything's not perfect. So it's really weird. It's just the weirdest thing. And I do so think it's about this next level of manifesting. I just so think it has so much to do with it.
Yeah. So what if, I mean, obviously you've manifested quite a bit. What is the one thing that you think you have, like a nugget of wisdom when you've manifested? Let's say, you got your book out there. Let's just take one thing.
Okay.
How did you do it? Like, how did you do it?
Well, you know what? Someone said to me, you should write a book. And I was like, I'm not really a book writing kind of person. Actually I was, because I had always written since I was a little girl, but it was all about timing. There's a lot to do with timing as well. And people get frustrated, I think, as well. And I think that, I don't know if you've had that put in your book, but I know myself that a lot of things that happen in my life that are supposed to happen, if I had done it 5 years prior or 10 years prior, it wouldn't have happened. And it just seems like there's something about timing in there. And so it was the right time when I wrote my book, and it just came out of me like a download. It just totally, like, because somebody had planted the seed a long time ago, but I wasn't ready. And it downloaded. But then I had my heart set on Hay House. I was like, nope, I'm not settling for any publisher. I'm on Hay House, and that's final. And so for, a few months, I sat with that, and someone came to me and said, oh, you want to publish with Hay House, but did you hear that part of their company is going bankrupt? And I said, oh, really? Because at the time they were struggling, and I think that their speaking part of it, like the cruises that they do and the events that they do, were going bankrupt or were headed in that direction. And I said to myself, well, maybe, I just said it to me, maybe they're not meant for me. Maybe not. And I let it go. I let go, and that was the surrender. It was like letting go of that, no, I want Hayes, and I'm not selling for anything less. So I let it go. And the next day I submitted my book proposal with only 3 chapters to Llewellyn. And 2 weeks later, I got an answer back that they wanted my book. And so that's how it happened. I surrendered, and I allowed, and voila, right?
Yep, that's it, and
Yeah.
that's it. That's how it's done, and it's magical.
It is, and that
Yeah.
was magic, because really you can't get a book publisher without an agent, and you can't get an agent without a book publisher. So it's like a catch-22. So the fact that I actually got into a publisher without an agent, and I'm kind of glad I did, because then I don't have to share my 15% with, like, that I get from Llewellyn with an agent, because you have to share 15% of 15% with a traditional publisher with your agent. So I'm like, it all worked out totally. But yeah, that's how it's done. It's like, and you know what? Remember Gene? Remember you interviewed Gene, and it didn't go so well or something. The video was kind of crappy. And this woman is like, you're going to have her on again for this whole allowing thing, because she is genius. She is like the queen of coolness, as in like just being okay with everything, just being like chill, and just like, almost like bohemian chic or something, just like a hippie kind of vibe, where it's like nothing's dire, everything's going to be okay. And
Yeah.
and this woman built a empire. She is never home now. She's traveling to Mexico, Miami, overseas. She's in like Vogue, Vanity Fair, all of her products, L'Oreal, what is it, L'Oreal, Max Factor, and Louis Vuitton. There's like 4 or 5 of them that want to buy her product line. And the biggest offer she's gotten so far is from Estee Lauder for a whopping $250 million. And this woman manifests like magic. I mean, she's just, and this all came from an idea from the fact that her sister had bad skin. And she was spending hundreds of dollars a month on the fact that she had acne and couldn't get rid of it. And they're both Korean. And, first of all, there's a stigma with the Asians and Koreans, oh, this is about the money. But it wasn't. This woman is brilliant with manifesting. It's like, well, how did you get all these contacts? How did you get, your foot in the door even? And she's like, I don't know, I just did it. I just knew that I could, and I went and I did it. And I guess the Mexican market is so underflooded that everybody wants it. And the Korean market, I guess it rules the beauty industry. So it's just an interesting dynamic that some people just know that what to do intuitively, and where to go, and they just trust the process. And she's one of those people, so it's really cool. You'll have to have her on again too. But it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, so many people now after reading your book that they are practicing that allow process, and they're turning out to be those next generation, or those, I call them the bridge, because we're here, but we want to get way over here. But there's so many people who don't know how to get from here to there. So these people are like the bridge. You're like the bridge, and Jean is like the bridge, and Doug is like the bridge. You know, so that's what I'm calling these people. And so you're showing people how to get from point A to point B, and it's a big point A to point B this time because it's a jump in evolution. It's like a quantum leap, right?
Yeah. Well, what's cool about that is that story you just told is fantastic, and it's rich, full of in between the lines, sort of like genius. And you could write books in between the lines of that could go on for a long time. But you said something, you talked about intuition, which is key. You get that inspiration from inside. It comes as an intuition, and that is your inner guidance. That's when you act when you're inspired to. And the other thing I want to talk about is, okay, choosing self-worth to receive. You have to believe in yourself in order to receive.
Yes.
No, here's a little trick. This is fun. This is just a little game I play. This right here, this is one of these new Pavlok watches. Have you heard of this?
Yes. I've seen those.
There's a shock through to you. So I've been playing with this, and step one of the ABC process is you disengage from your mind. You say it's not it when you start to feel your negativity come in. So I've been up
Where
the.
do you get that? Where do you get it? Like,
I got this online. It's Pavlok.com. Pavlok.
Can you get it on Amazon by chance? Do you know?
Oh, probably. Sure. Yeah, you can.
So what's the price tag on it? I'm cheap, right?
Oh God, I don't know. Like
I'm
200.
frugal.
It's a lot of money actually for a little piece of.
So it shocks you. Like I heard a little bit about it. So it does. It like gives a little electric shock. To
Ready?
like,
Oh, woo!
is that insane?
It's a dog collar for a human, basically.
I love it. It's cheaper to get a dog collar.
Yeah, I know. Just put one around your neck and just.
Yeah. Maybe I will. No, I'm frugal. I'm not cheap. I'm frugal. And you know what? It's funny because Jean is also very frugal. She doesn't shop at like the high-end places like you think she would. She goes to like the used, like here in LA, we have some really cool like vintage places, and like it's used clothes, but it's like top-notch clothes. But you don't have to pay a lot for it. This is where this lady shops. I mean, she's got a company that's $250 million, and money is not really important to her. And I think that's another thing about the whole law of attraction and the materialism. The world is changing so much right now, and that whole how we look at materialism is changing. And I think that there's this one point I wanted to bring up is that our parents' generation and the generations before that, they were all brought up to believe that we had to work and climb the corporate ladder, build our bank accounts, buy our house, buy our car, have 2.3 kids and a dog, and save for retirement and retire at 65 and either probably die because you waited too long to live your life, or travel a little bit and then die. So now we're not, and that was the whole period when no one was really living their purpose. They were living, my dad's a dentist, so I'm going to be a dentist. My mom is a business owner, so I'm going to take over the family business. They already had it all set out. Or it was like X number of careers, 10 different careers. You could be a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist, a veterinarian. There are like 10 different key roles that people went into. And that's kind of what set the stage for the next generations, right? But our generations, it's so fun because we're living our purpose. We get to say every day, what do I want to create today? I don't have to be a dentist. I don't have to be a business owner. I don't have to follow in my dad's footsteps. I can do whatever the heck I want to do. So it's just so cool to see. And especially your daughter, like looking at her, they just shine, don't they? That age group, it's like, because they come in knowing exactly what they want. And they have no qualms with telling you. It's like, no, I'm doing this. I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
and
I know it
so
too.
we're kind of in between, right? We're the forerunners of that. We have a little bit of that baggage left from that old generation, but we're still understanding these kids, and we know what they're what they're saying inside, what their soul is saying.
Yeah, you said something. I my coach that I'm working with right now, you've been saying several things that he trains, and it's like, you should be doing this, Michelle. You should really be doing high-end coaching because, okay, we talk about Gene because Gene's the perfect example.
You hook me up and I'll do it.
Right. Okay. So here's how we get in our own way and how we do this to our manifestations. Remember pushing it away?
Yeah.
Trying to get it? Okay. Well, there's an internal and an external game. And the internal game is if you want to receive, then lower your self-importance.
Yes.
When you prop yourself up, what you do is you send a counterbalancing force that will take you down.
Yes.
So when you try to make yourself a big deal, then you'll have a scandal or a lawsuit or a divorce or a breakup or something will take you back down. So if you go under the radar and you just make yourself of no importance, but you're really doing manifesting, but you're just not a big deal, then you can have that free flow.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I always say to you, Matthew. I'm always like, I'm just little Michelle. You know, like people come to me all the time and be like, you know, oh, I'm so happy to meet you. It's almost like they want to ask for my autograph. I'm like, I look at them like, what are you talking about? You know, it's just me. And that's how I am. It's like, it's not something that I've ever really thought about when I think about, well, I kind of get embarrassed about that a little bit. You know, when people think I'm something, and I always looked at it, I guess, as feeling like I shouldn't feel that way. But then, like, I kind of felt guilty. Well, maybe I should feel like I'm somebody. But I don't know. I've struggled with that one because people always tell you, you know, build your platform, make yourself look. But it's for me, it's just like I'm always going to be me, and I'm always going to be authentic, and I'm always going to be transparent. And you can ask me anything. And I was at the hospital, my hair's a mess, and I said, Matthew, let's go live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just little old Michelle here. And that's just how it rolls for me. So I get that. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that won't give you the time of day. I mean, I live in LA. So there's a lot of people here who don't give you the time of day. I mean, you know, and I won't, you know, name drop it. There's a couple that moved in recently that's on one of the shows that's on TV now. And let's just say they're less than friendly, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, yeah. I'm a Canadian, so I'm like, hi, you know, and it's just not happening. So, you know, I know what you're saying. And I hear you, brother.
But I'll tell you what, though, they might be on that show, but in equivalent to success that Gene has, what's the difference? You know what I mean? It's a big difference. And the other thing, so that's the internal game, is to lower the self-importance. And in the external game, is it to make it be okay? Like, make your goal not be that important. Like, you know, yeah, I'd like to manifest $100 million or $200 million, and I'm going to manifest that. But if it doesn't show up, like tonight, I'm okay. I'm going to survive. My life is still blessed.
Yeah, that's it. It's not dire. You know, it's like, I always tell people that too when I do charts for people. It's like, this is the energy you were born with, and these are the lessons that you were meant to learn in this lifetime. But if you don't get them all done, so what? You're going to carry them forward, and you'll get them at some point in your evolution of your soul. And when nothing is dire, if it's not, oh my God, if I don't get this, I'm gonna, you know, it's the end. It's like the apocalypse, the Armageddon, and that's exactly how Jean is. It's like she comes in sandals and a sundress with no makeup on, and you know, just chill. It's like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It wasn't meant to happen. So she's like, I'm doing a video with her actually on Saturday because first I wanted her to tell her story in like a nutshell of like how she did Evolu. And she's like, well, that would take way too long. She said, what we should do is take a solid business idea and I'll show you how to do it guerrilla style, which is like, you know, taking it and just like a simple idea, like a solid basic idea, and just, you know, taking it from start to finish in the simplest of ways. Because this woman blows your mind when it comes to like simplicity. It's like, duh, why didn't I think of that? And that's how she does everything. It's like this in the simplest ways, because we're always thinking hard. We're always thinking like, well, to get that million, I'm going to need to do this and this and this and this. No, you don't. You don't. And I came from a place where it was only 33,000 people from the East Coast. And I get emails all the time from them saying, you're so inspirational, Michelle. I wish that I could do all the things that you did. And I say to them all the time, just do it. Put one foot in front of the other and do it. But they're so locked into their fear factor that they would never take that step to make those changes.
Exactly. And that is, here you go. Here. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
What does that say?
Let go.
Use your intuition.
Yes.
And then no doubt and no fear. See that?
I love it.
That's the process. Yeah.
So that's in the book, like that diagram is in the book, right?
No, it's just, I drew that earlier, but it's so synchronistic that you just talked about it. So I was like,
see it in the book. I didn't see it. The final edit you sent me, I didn't see it in there. So I thought maybe.
No, I was living ahead of your now, and I was drawing it out so that I'd have the notes ready for you. So when you talked, I could show you the notes.
That's too funny. That's too funny. But it's so true. It really is. It's like, I think that's my secret ingredient. It's the fear, like the fearlessness. It's like, I try to tell Colleen all the time because she's one of those people that's like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And I'm like, calm down. Let's just work through it. Let's just take it step by step here. Okay, we've got this issue. How are we gonna do it? Let's think about some solutions here. But she doesn't. She just goes around in circles, and it's like nothing really gets done. So it's that direness that really gets to so many people. And
Yeah.
I think the bottoming out though, because she came from a family where she went to Catholic school, and she really didn't have that experience of like bottoming out. Coming from a poor background or like hitting rock bottom several times, so she doesn't really have that experience. So it's good that your book is able to teach people, especially people like her who haven't lived it. And I think we have a leg up because we've lived it and we know it from experience. We had to do it the hard way, but people like Colleen get to read the book and have that aha moment that says, oh, that's what I've been doing wrong.
Yeah. It really is just, I don't know, allowing it's one of those things where allow is the whole thing. You only have to know allow, but that's the master course. So you have to fill pages just to like ramp up to be able to understand what allow means.
Yeah.
Just get out of your own way is really what it comes down to. And
Yeah.
you just have fun, really. If you just had fun and you just continuously chased your highest excitement at every moment and you made life like super fun, you would be in the process of allowing everything.
Well, that's the thing. And today even I was like, oh, I'm never going to make it for Matthew's show. And it's this new show and I'm going to like be so late. And then I caught myself. I was like, you know what? I'm going to email him and I'm going to give him my cell phone number and I'm going to give him all the things that he needs in case he can log in himself. And I'm going to tell him I'll be home very, very soon. And I was, but I didn't make it dire. I was, it will be what it will be. And I thought, well, we can start a little later. So what, 10 minutes, 4:10 instead of, or 4:15 instead of 4. So it wasn't the end of the world. And I caught myself in the act of, the, oh my God. So it's working. Your book is working. I went, I haven't read it all yet, but the parts that I've read so far, it's like, I was pretty proud of myself because I caught myself today in the act. So.
Yeah, it's funny because it's, same thing happened with me. I had, nobody ever comes in here because it's just a studio. And this guy walks in and he's an older guy and he's got his his veteran's hat on. And I was thinking, well, he's older, like, come on in, check it out, walk around because he wanted to see the place. So we started talking. Well, it turns out he used to own the building and he wanted to see what I do. And I showed him around and I was like, gosh, I got to go on here with Michelle like in 5 minutes. So I looked and you said, I'm running 10 minutes late. And I'm like, oh, no, I'll wait for you. That's fine. So we ended up talking and he's got these product ideas he wants to sell online. And so I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll call you and we'll work it out. And so now I get to like, I guess show him how to sell stuff on eBay, his stuff that he wants to sell. So kind of fun.
It all worked out then. See?
Yeah.
So it could have, really, because our paths are all intertwined, right? It could have actually been me catching myself in the act and saying, wait a second, it's not dire. It could have been you, telepathically, we could have been connected in some way because our paths are crossed. I mean, we're interacting, we have different things that we do together and, career-wise and all that. It could have, you just think about the weird stuff like that. It could have been that telepathically you were saying, geez, I gotta go in 5 minutes, but talking to this guy. And then I'm like, wait a second, it's not dire, we can start late. So it's like we both were kind of in sync, maybe telepathically. It was, you never know. It could be even cool like that. So I often think of things. I'm just weird like that. You know me, Matthew. But
Well, you're actually you're like you're a master. You're saying what it is. This is what it is. We are connected, and
Yeah.
because we both were willing to accept the fact that this is the way it is and still roll with it, it ended up working out great. But if what happens is sometimes when we want things done our way, and when we push against what is, and when we push against it, then what we do is we disallow something that's about to happen that's probably even better than what we wanted.
Well, I think what you're saying, Matthew, is actually really what you're saying in a different way than, let's say, I don't know, Wayne Dyer or somebody. Because all of those gurus are like falling to the wayside, and I don't mean to say it because that's kind of, I mean, he passed away, but I didn't mean to fall to the wayside in that manner. But I mean that their teachings and their way of teachings are being replaced by people like you, who are showing us in a different light what they were trying to teach us too. Which, think about what you just said with that, pushing and resisting. It's like we can put our order into the universe as to what we want, but we can't say what the packaging or how it comes, to us. So I think that's what you're trying to say, but I like your way better because it really fits the generation and the civilization that we're living in right now, the way you're saying it.
Yeah.
And it's more quantum physics than it is anything else, which I love because it's really going scientific. It's really going like, I think because people are so scared and they're so lost and they're so broken that a lot of people are like, well, you got to show me. I need proof in the pudding. So science is going to play a really big part in the next level of spiritual teachings because we need like the two married together because like numbers, for example, I work with numbers. Numbers are like the language of the universe. I mean, everything is based on the numbers 1 to 9. You could think of a number that had 26 digits, and it's all the numbers 1 to 9 in there. Also a 0, which is more of a placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the universe is built on that. And so I think we need like proof in the pudding. And I call it practical spirituality. And that's what your book is all about to me. It's like written in a really practical way. And I think Wayne Dyer's words were beautiful, or speakers like that, where it was a beautiful thought, the way that they said it, the way that they taught it, that we learned a lot from them. However, most people would go home from those seminars or those workshops and their life would still stay the same. And there's no way to apply what they were trying to teach us. And now you're combining the teachings in a different way, in a more practical way, and also giving the tools to be able to implement it, which is the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe the thing that I guess would make me different is that I like working out. I love resistance. Okay.
Yeah. Me too.
Resistance
I have an elliptical and I put it all the way up to the highest setting because I love the resistance. What is it about that?
Well, okay, but that's good. But when we carry that, how we do anything is how we do everything. So when I tried to create my old life by creating a lot of resistance,
Yeah.
and I got nothing. I never got anything I wanted. But so that's when I learned. I'm like, it took me to get Lyme disease and be laid up for 2 years in my bed. That's when I started to get rich because I wasn't able to get in my own way anymore. And that's the magic of it. And so I carried that forward, this process of allowing. When I got this nutrition store and it was failing, and my first instinct was I'm going to go out and I'm going to really hit it and I'm going to start handing out this and this and this. So I started really going after it and nothing was working. And finally, I stopped doing all that. I went in the back room and I played my guitar and I just jammed out all day. And I didn't care. I just could care less what happened to that store. And then the idea came in my mind that made me a ton of money. And it just because I was in that state of having fun. Mm-hmm. Like what Gene said, the idea just showed up and then I just took it and it worked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just, releasing or surrendering to the outcome. It's like, you want this? Yes. But you don't have the right as a creator to say how it's going to come because we are all intertwined. It's like, if I present an idea to you, Matthew, and I say, well, I'd like to create a product. I don't really have full say. Well, I could, but really, technically speaking, because you're involved, there's that word interdependence that I love, because when you're doing something that involves somebody else, it's an interdependent relationship. It's not independent, it's not codependent, it's interdependent. So what I don't have, you have, and vice versa. It's like we're relying on each other to make a whole something or other, right? So I just think that the control factor, that's huge. And you know, this with Colleen, it's like she's just completely like she's the type of person, honestly, and you know, I'm diming her out right now because she's gonna hate me when she sees this, but she's the type to make sticky notes that are like microprint for the list for the day, and especially on the weekends. She has us all listed out what we're gonna do in order, and if she already did something, she'll add it to the list and cross it off, even though she, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, no, I already did that, so I'll put it on and then put a line through it. It's like, why bother? You've already did it. I never make, like, I'm the worst organized person in the world, but it works for me. You know, it's like, well, here, just take a look. I'll turn this around for you. You got to take a look at this because I'm just at the table here, but this is neat to me. You know, this is look at the paperwork and the, you know, I'm. You know, that's like organized chaos to most people, right? Did you see that?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Well, that's you just have a different level of organization. It's not, you're not relying on your mind as much as you are your intuition, which is actually a higher level of organization.
Well, they have a picture actually of Einstein's desk when he died.
Yeah.
And it's all like strewn everywhere. So I guess it's a good thing I'm not a sticky note kind of person, and I'm not a list person, and I'd rather be like Einstein than have a list that I have to cross off, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I love, and also I want to say about the design of the cover. Who designed that, and how did you come up with it? Because it's like kick-ass. I love it. It's like brilliant.
Okay, well, sorry. I just had that outsourced, and I told the designer, I don't even know the guy's name actually, from another country, and I just said, I want it to be red, and I want it to be sort of like The Secret, but make it kind of cool, you know, put some fire in there and some lightning or something, and that's the design that came out. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. When I saw the cover alone, I was like, that's going to be on the side shelf of Barnes & Noble. And what I mean by the side shelf is that, you know how you've got the shelves of books, but then you have the side of the aisle. I'm like, that's where that's going to be, because it's eye-catching. Like, red is about passion, right?
Yep.
And so it just makes sense. But it's so similar to The Secret, but not like in the cover design. The people are going to look at that right away and be drawn to it, because everybody knew what The Secret looked like the symbolism in the book, and you know, all that stuff. So that's right away when I saw your book cover, I thought of The Secret before I even knew what it was about. So it'll help you in your marketing for sure, but it's different. So it's the next step. It's like, you know, I have to do an endorsement for you, and that's what I'm going to say. Part of it is that it is the next step, because it is. I mean, it totally is. So I'm stoked about it. It's like kind of half jealous, Matthew, that it's not me. You know, I'm teasing.
Maybe you'll be a part of it when it's obviously in its first version. There's going to be another version and another version, so there's always going to be room.
Yes, maybe I'll third step of because you've got the second half, and maybe we'll co-author the third part of the whole law of attraction. Who knows? But yeah, you know, I'm so proud of you, and that's the other thing. It's like Dean and I were talking about this on the phone too, and we were saying that we give and give and give, and we never look for anything back, you know. And it's like sometimes we feel used and abused, but most of the time we don't. Like, most of the time, like, Colleen gets so mad at me. She's like, don't give it away, you know, don't. And I'm like, why? You know, most of the time I'm like, if I feel like I need to do that, I need to do that. And I don't know why, I just need to do that. So it's like, you know, I don't know where that fits into the whole law of attraction thing either, or how it fits into the manifesting, but I find that frequently with people who are like mega manifestors. They tend to give away the farm, but not to the degree that they're doing it to like gain affection or followers or you know, that kind of thing. They're doing it out of pureness, you know, out of just that pure intuitive force that says you got to do this for this person.
Yeah. It's just, it's the prosperity cycle that, you put value into the world, and then the world will put more value into you to put, it just keeps flowing. And if you want to keep it flowing, you got to keep getting it out there.
Right. I sent a pen that the other day, well, about a week ago now. One of my doctors that I just love, he's like, most doctors in the US are just all about the money, right? They're all about, pushing the prescriptions and, getting you in and out. But this guy is like really phenomenal. And he just got promoted to chief of staff. And I'm not surprised because he's just like kick ass. And I got him this pen that says MD on it. And it says changing life. And then what's it say? Something one life at a time. I can't remember how the quote went, but it was something about, being a doctor is about changing lives one at a time or something. You'd have to look it up. But it came in a cute little case, and it wasn't much money. It was like $26, but it was really cute. And I sent it to him, and he sent me the nicest email that said, all in bold, thank you, with an exclamation point. And I really, truly just did it because I felt like he needed to have that congratulations, that like real legitimate, I'm sure people congratulated him, but that was like an extra step for me to just do that for him because I just felt like he was underappreciated. That's the kind of vibe that he gives off. So, it was just a random act of kindness, I guess you could say. It was like, that's what I do. And then Colleen gets mad at me. She's like, what, why were you spending money on some doctor? And, the guy is cute as a button. He's like a big teddy bear. It has nothing to do with like me trying to bribe for anything or, and he's just the nicest guy. So pay it forward,
Yeah. Plus it when you give, it sets up an expectancy. And it's not from the person you give to, but because you know that you're giving, you set up the expectancy so that you can receive from anywhere it's trying to come to you. And that's a good selfish reason to give. And I read that in so many books that it blows the mind because the people that have done it, like you, and they figured it out. Like, hey, this is a good way to live because if I start doing this, not only are people going to be excited, I'm going to give them something of value, but now when somebody wants to give to me, I'm probably going to say yes to it because I need to have so that I can give.
Well, to tell you the truth, one of the reasons I do things like that is because I think that, how do you think that set his day? It probably really, when he got that package in the morning, it probably set his day up to be a phenomenal day. He might have, you never know, maybe he manifested something really great that he wanted because it put him in such a great mood.
Yeah.
And the thing that I do with manifesting.
Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I do a lot of things with manifesting is that Colleen or anybody that I know of will say to me, don't tell anybody, someone told me one time to write a check for $10 million to myself and not show anybody, put it away. And I said, why? I said, because if the more people I show, the more excitement will build, the more people are going to see it and say, yeah, Michelle's going to be, a mega millionaire and she's doing it. And how much energy is being put behind that when you put it on Facebook, and that's why sometimes I get really personal on Facebook because it's not because I'm, looking for attention or looking for sympathy or anything. I get really personal because I want more intention behind. It's like fuel for the fire. We're global. It's like one big consciousness, right? So if we put that out there to the universe, then we have all these souls or these pieces of that one big soul that are all fueling that fire. So of course I'm going to share it. I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to share it with the world.
Yeah. Next time you write out a check like that, could you send it to me?
If I had it, honey, I can't cash it, but I'll read it.
I'll hold on to it until it's good, So.
I'll see if Jean can write you one. She'd probably clear it.
Yeah. Well, it's a good process though. I like doing that. And like my mentor tells me that it's all just made up anyway, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, I have a friend that sold half of his company for $20 million and he's a young kid in his 20s. And
Wow.
it's all made up, right? I mean, okay, it's just a number.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not harder to receive that than it is
250 million?
or $150 check for Christmas,
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, go big or go home, right? I mean, it's you're gonna manifest. You might as well manifest big, right? I mean, it's like some people think modestly with their goals, and I'm like, why would you want to think modest when I just always feel like I could conquer the world if I wanted to, like the sky's the limit. Anything that I want to do, I can do. And I've always been like that since I was a kid. I think I have kind of like a child mentality in that sense, that I just believe that I can have it, and it's so neat because how kids think. They think that, well, yeah, I'm going to be a veterinarian. I'm going to live in Tahiti, and I'm going to marry a guy who's like 7'3", and and it's like they matter of factly know that, and no one tells them any different, and they truly believe it. So that's kind of how I operate too, is that I just believe it. It's like I met with this company the other day, and it's really cool because it's saucy. It's like a alcohol delivery service, and on the back of their cards they have just like pre-stamped quotes that, and they only have like a handful of them. But I proposed to the manager, that we could put little quotes on there that could set the tone for the night. So let's say it comes on your bottle of wine that you ordered from Saucy, and you turn it over, and there's a quote on the back that says number 3, social butterfly, and underneath that says, get your party game on because you're going to be the life of the party tonight, or something like that, right? Yeah. And then it sets the tone. It's like, oh, that's fun, cute. I'm a social butterfly tonight, And so I did a whole bunch of kind of examples for them, and he loved it. He's like, I'm the manager here for the LA office, but I'm going to bring this idea to the big cheeses upstairs, because that they're there too, because it's the corporate office in Los Angeles. So I haven't heard back from him yet, but he loved it so much. I mean, he was just in love with it. And I also said we could do like some t-shirt giveaways, because he gave me a t-shirt that said Saucy on it, and we could do the quotes on the back, and the same idea. And their team is really cool too. It's like it was the coolest looking office with the coolest team. They reminded me of like CSI Cyber. You know that show, CSI Cyber?
Yeah.
Everybody's so weird, and they're like quirky, and it was just really cool. It was like a scene from that show. It was really neat. They were fun people. But that's me. That's, like, where did I get this idea? I got it off a bottle of wine that I ordered. And I thought, it's a great quote, but I've seen it 100 times because I've ordered several times from them, because I don't want to go to the store for a bottle of wine. So for dinner or whatever, and I'm having guests over for dinner, or I order some wine through Saucy. And I just went. I made a proposal, and I took action. And most likely they're going to bite on this. So that's how it rolls,
Yeah, those little things that make all the difference too. It really, I like that concept, because you collectively borrow stuff, and then you take it into a new arena, and now you've got a whole new spin on things, and that's how genius ideas are usually born.
Yeah, they're so simple. It's like, why didn't I think of that? People are going to look at that, and, other numerologists or astrologers or whatever are going to be like, damn, why didn't I think of that? I could have did that. I could have walked in there and told them to put this on there, but I guess with every invention, people always think that it's like somebody else must have already done it. Well, maybe they haven't. So might as well give it a try. And lo and behold, they loved it. So it was really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's what you just described is the process that people tend to get stuck on, because I know that it did for me, and it was always like a unit, like a push and pull thing, where I would get an opportunity in front of me, and I would say, oh, that's kind of scary because it's big. But then you have a choice, and you don't get a second chance usually. So you can say yes, or you can wait till the next one, but you're not going to be guaranteed the next one's going to show up right away.
Right. And one can lead to the other. So, who knows where that might lead. And we were joking actually at Saucy, because I work for lotteryusa.com. They pay me to do a weekly horoscope, and this is alcohol delivery. So what could be more complicated in terms of legalities than gambling and alcohol, right? So we were thinking of ways how we could not tie in the lottery with the alcohol, but do it in a roundabout way, because they wanted to piggyback on my platform and the numbers that I had for followers, and so that I'm tweeting out stuff for them, and that I'm kind of like a spokesperson for them, because they want their numbers up, because they're a new company and they don't have a lot of money for promotion. So it's more of a collaboration deal than anything else in terms of like monetary value. But to me, it builds on my platform. So I'm game for that, you know? And that doesn't directly tie in Lottery USA, but yet it still is piggybacking on their followers because they get like 8 million followers a month. So whatever they're getting, I'm getting, and then Saucy would be getting. You know what I mean? So that's the legality of it. You know, I'm not a lawyer and they're not either, but they're going to consult with their lawyer about that. But that's what we had talked about. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, I can't wait. When's your book coming out? Okay, so let's wrap this up because I mean, we've been talking for dogs. We could talk forever. I mean, Matthew and I mean, people watching this, we could talk forever and ever and ever because you know that video we did on the roof, people are still talking about that. So we need to do another video because you need to get your butt to LA. But we just kind of have that jive that between us that we just know what the other one is saying. It's like we're two of a kind. Like if I could think of myself in male form, it'd probably be you. And that's just kind of how I think. So I think that's why we understand each other.
I get you. I get you a lot. I get the way that you put yourself ideals together.
Yeah.
And I catch like every little thing that you throw out that I think is brilliant. And I'm like, how you did that? I'm like, I always say this. I say, you know, the way that you throw it out there so nonchalantly, it's almost like because you're not doing it matter-of-factly, I wonder if everybody's catching all this, or is it just because it's so powerful sometimes.
Yeah. And I do it that way because I think if I do it in a serious way, I don't think people would pay attention. I think that people like the gossipy, the real life drama stuff. So when you put it into a context like that and put it out on Facebook, people get the message, but they get it because they're going to read it because it's juicy or it's something that happened in my life or it's something, that kind of thing. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. You get me and you're on to me. You're on to my tricks. But when's the book coming out? So tell everybody all about this, the launch and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the book is actually available now as the unedited author's version, and it's like my notes, which is cool, and that's at allow.ws. You can grab a copy of that, and then we're going to do the official Amazon launch on my birthday, which is the 17th of this month in February. And I turned 89, but thanks to my products, I'm maintaining.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to do it on that day. And then, I don't know, we'll see what happens from there. But I'm excited because that's a new version of the book. So that's going to be, it's been modified a bit, and it's a little longer and it's a little, different. But whatever serves you. You can get the book then, you can get it now, and you can wait till even when I work with you afterwards and we start to do a bigger book. So.
Well, are you going to put this book on the bookshelves? This is what I'm asking. Because listen to this one.
That's afterward. Yeah, you and I are going to do that.
Well, exactly. And you know what? They just announced, and you know how Amazon is taking the world by storm. I mean, they're closing retail stores because of Amazon. I mean, look at Target's going under. There's so many businesses. Retail's dead. I mean, even Jean said her store breaks even because it's more for looks than anything else because no one shops retail anymore. They go on Amazon if they want something. So, she makes lots of zeros behind her figures on Amazon because it's the way to go. And I mean, they drop it off at the door here in LA within hours. Like I'll order something on Amazon and it comes to the door within hours.
Nice.
If I do Prime, right? And it's just like blows your mind. Like, how do they do that crap? And so they have announced they're going to open hundreds, that's 2 zeros, of real regular bookstores.
I heard that. Yeah.
So isn't that cool? Because we thought bookstores were dead. I mean, we thought they were on their way out. But I'm the type of person that you're saying, go get the download. I hate reading it that way. I need a physical book to hold. This is me. Like I love to go into a bookstore and get a bunch of books and actually feel them, read them, have them at my night table and, actually be able to hold them. So if Amazon's doing it, there must be a need for it because they're smart as heck. I mean, they are like, I don't know who is at the forefront of this company, but they're brilliant. I mean, it must be like a clone of Gene or something. I don't know. But they're taking over the world. I mean, Amazon's where it's at. So you need to have your book on bookshelves if Amazon's opening hundreds of stores because there's Barnes & Noble, but then there's going to be Amazon now. So
I have an idea. This is what we can work on. Okay, this is exciting.
Okay, all right.
Because I think it was okay. Anyway, the guy that wrote the book called the Cultural Code, whatever, I forgot his name, but he does this. Okay, the essence of retail shopping is connecting with life. That is why people do it. They connect with life.
Yes.
So it makes sense that Amazon's going to do this because now they're taking something digital and they're going to connect it to the chemical, and they're going to dominate everything because they're going to connect with life on all fronts.
Yes.
So what we should do is we should make the Allow board game, and then we can connect
I love this.
in the setting of, human interaction again.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And you could also make it into like a game of like,
Or
well,
should
I mean,
some
are you
kind of,
taking the right steps? That would be super cool. I mean, it would take a lot of work to think about how you could do that, but it'd be like taking the steps to, are you allowing, right? So you're working through this game, and the winner, or so to speak, the winner is the one that gets to the end and is the one that is allowing, right? That manifests whatever it is they wanted to manifest. That's like super cool. I mean, you could do a ton of things. Think about like a calendar idea too. Like you could do like a daily calendar where, people rip off the little page. Those are easy. I mean, you print those out and have like, 365 days of tips on how to live what you're talking about. That kind of.
yeah, even the app too. We could create an app where, let's say oh no, I want to manifest, my $10,000 this week. And then the app tells you what's going on right now. What are your options?
Right.
Have you done this? Have you done that? It like guides you back into the place of allowing, so that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So what are you doing right now? You're supposed to be working on that.
Yeah, that's coming. What we're gonna do is like how you wrote your book. I got the idea, but I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm gonna disengage and I'm gonna let it go. And then what's gonna happen is it's gonna possess me, and it's gonna make me create it, like when the timing is right.
It's already possessed me. I mean, these ideas are stellar. Like, you are off the hook crazy. I think too, though, when you and I get together like this and talk, it's like we bounce ideas off each other, and it's like we get the ball rolling somehow. Like you're manifesting like crazy right now, these ideas. So, as much as I'd love to keep talking all night, it's like it's getting late for me. It's way past my bedtime. No, I'm kidding. It's only 5:30 here, but we have been talking for an hour. So people can get the book so far as like an unedited copy at allow.ws, right?
Yep.
And then you're launching it on Amazon on your birthday, which is
17th.
17th of February this month. And then we're going to put it into print so that we can get it into those hundreds of Amazon stores and Barnes & Noble, of course, and all the other little like libraries and the whole 9 yards. So this thing is going to be, and Oprah is only 4 streets down from me, right? So we can also, once we get it into print, we can ship a copy off to her and send it to the OWN network. You never know, right? It's like sending my book to Llewellyn when I had Hay House in mind.
Yeah.
You just never know, right?
Yeah,
So,
she'd be beating your door down for the new board game when it comes out.
well, that's just it. That's just it. So let's get on this stuff. I mean, look, I did Saucy this week, so you got to get your stuff together and do something this week. So,
yeah.
All right. So, Matthew, I'm going to wrap this up for us, and I'll edit it for you and all that jazz, so we don't have to, but you can do your exit, and then I'll just clip some parts out of it. And there are some viewers, so this is the first show, so just take it with a grain of salt, people. We did some good jamming here. We didn't have the guests that we were supposed to have, but
I always have my faithful audience of my kids here, so that's fine.
well, yeah, I mean, that makes it real. The kids are there. I kind of figured the kids were there. I heard the noise. That's why I brought it up. I was like, well, Matthew's probably a little uncomfortable because the kids are making noise, and so you bring it in. You bring it into the program, and now everybody's comfortable with it because they know in the background, just the kids. So, yeah, that's how I see it. So now that we've told everybody how to get it and when it's coming out, and we want to get that date though for the actual print because I'm so excited about those Amazon stores. Like, that just blew my mind. So I'll edit all this out for people who are watching some of the stuff that we want to put some bells and whistles on this sucker, and we'll put your book cover and all that jazz. So if you want to wrap it up, Matthew, then I'll stop the broadcast and we can start.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for checking this out, and I hope you find a ton of value in this. You might want to watch it again and again. Michelle said some pretty powerful things that happened very fast, and I see myself catching them later, and I'm sure you will too. And if you want to get the book, go to allow.ws. That's ALLOW.WS, and check out the version that's available today. And also, if you want to participate in the launch, maybe we'll put out a broadcast about that right prior to the launch, and we'll let you know more about it. So thanks much, and we'll see you next week.
All right, great. See you guys.
All right.